about journal entries on income part. So as a fund, when fund invest in fixed income securities or stocks, right? So fund will receive different types of income like dividend, interest payment, and as an accountant, it will be your responsibility to record them in the books of account. So we have two different scenarios. One is for dividend and another one is for interest payment. So let's discuss this, how we record dividends in the books of account. Let's say, see, your question, maybe you may expect, around dividend, question around dividend is like when we record dividend in the books of account. See, we record dividend in the books of account on X date. All right. So when the X date is due and if you're holding securities, then of course you are allowed to accrue the dividends in the books of fund. So record them. So when you have a due of dividend, your accounting entry would be receivable account debit, means dividend receivable account debit to dividend income account credit. So you can record that entry in the books of account. So debit receivable means your dividend receivable account debit to dividend income account credit. So note down this accounting entry, and actually when that particular wire or dividend actually received in your bank account or custodian account, so you can reverse that reversal entry. So your accounting entry would be cash and bank account debit to receivable account credit. All right. So this is how we can record the dividends in the books of account. But what if due dividend? So let's say what if due dividend amount is received very less. In that case, how we record it? So assume it you have total due amount of 10,000. You have recorded it, but when you actually actual amount you have received, so which is received 9,900. So what could be the reason that you have received less amount? See, there are several reasons. Maybe transaction fees applied, tax applied, expenses applied, processing fees applied, or maybe incorrect fees or ratio that which was taken already to record the dividends. So there are so many things. So I'm just assuming when you receive dividend, so most of the time custodian or banks, they process net dividend amount. So it means they'll charge interest payment and process it remaining amount. So assumption here is, so you have recorded dividend at gross amount and bank process dividend to you at net amount. And when you received amount dividend at net amount, so you can record accounting entries in the books of account in this way: cash and bank account debit, tax or expenses account debit to receivable account credit. So this is how you can record your dividends when you received less dividend amount. I hope now you got the idea about how we record dividends in the books of account. And what about interest payment? In case of interest payment, see, in interest payment, we start recording or accruing interest payment from the settlement of fixed income securities. And once that settlement is passed, so you can start accruing interest payment. So you can also check the interest payment on Bloomberg or any other sites if you have, and record them in the books of account. So in that case, you can record entries like receivable account debit to interest income account credit, and you can start recording them in the books of account. So cash and bank account debit to receivable account credit when that receivable or accrued interest payment settled in your bank's account. All right. So anyways, so when we record this entry, means cash payment entry. So basically wire we receive on payment date. So you can record that entry on payment date, or maybe payment date plus one you can consider and record it. So this is how we record dividends and interest payments in the books of account. So I have just created a schedule for interest payments. See this: dividend receivable always we record it to the debit, and interest income we record it to the credit. Dividend receivable we treat as a current assets, and interest income that we treat as a income basically. So every month, if you are recording, let's say 100 rupees interest payment for per month, so you can every month you can record the entry for 100 rupees receivable account debit to interest income account credit. And at the end, when you actually that receivables realized to you, so once it is realized to you, you can record the accounting entry, which is cash and bank account debit to receivable account credit. Why? Because so accrued interest that you have realized now. So this is how we record interest payments in the books of account. Then what about dividends? In case of dividends, on X date, you can create an accounting entry for accrued dividends, whatever amount that you have. So I'm assuming you have amount of 1200. So recorded 1200 accrued from X date, a receivable account debit to dividend income account credit. Post this accounting entry. And on payment date, that amount it will settle. If payment settled, then your accounting entry would be cash and bank account debit to receivable account credit. All right. So yeah, there are the entries that we post for incomes, or I would say you can follow the same method or technique for any kind of incomes: income from fixed income securities, income from loan, income from swaps, income from any other contracts. If you see, you can follow the same method to record them in the books of account. You don't need to follow any other method. Just follow this method and record the entries in the books of account. So once you follow this method and record it, it will be easy for you to even reconcile also. Anyways, I'm done with this income part as well. So last module would be for a redemption. So we'll see that how redemption entries that we post in the books of accounts. So please check the next module as well. So thank you very much. If you have any questions around it, please provide feedback or post your doubts in comment sections. I'll help you to get the understanding of those entries as well. Thank you very much.